Hey yo, salute to the people. It's the social forecast. Today is Wednesday, April 1st. Happy National April fucking Fool's Day. But it's the realest channel online. If you're not subscribed, you out your fucking mind. So before I get into what I want to talk about, I just want to run something past my subscribers, my viewership real quick as I continue to grow this channel. I'm going to implement, and I don't know yet if I'm going to do it every single day or 2 or 3 times a week, but I'm going to be doing a show. At the very least, it'll be 2 or 3 times a week, but I may end up doing it every day, at least during the week. And it'll be called Midday Juice. And whether I decide to do it 2, 3 times or 5 days a week, it'll be about midday, somewhere between, I want to say 2 and 3 o'clock, maybe for about an hour or so. Maybe between 3 and 4. Or 3:30 and 4:30. That is a little more feasible. But I'm going to call it Midday Juice. And basically, we'll just come through, since I don't typically do a lot of celebrity updates and, current events as far as social media is concerned and entertainers and all that shit. I want to make some space on my platform to start doing that because, it's what's out here. It's what's trending. It's what people are talking about. It's what, people are looking into and looking for. So I'm going to start doing that. So look out for that Midday Juice. And just as a kind of a preview or precursor to the type of things I would be talking about in this midday juice thing that I'm going to be doing. So recently, as we all know, all of us who follow social media and keep up with our current events and things like that, Lamar Odom, formerly of the Los Angeles Lakers, formerly married to Khloe Kardashian, recently went on Drink Champs. And, if you're a hip hop fan, if you're in hip hop, you're in that whole media space, nothing needs to be explained. You know what Drink Champs is. If you don't, go look it up. Because I don't really have time to get into the whole backstory of what Drink Champs is. But basically, Lamar Odom went on Drink Champs, and y'all know when NORE gets his guests on Drink Champs, they get to drinking and smoking, and they go in. And with the exception of a few people, one that sticks out the most, Floyd Mayweather, who was also recently on, he's probably one of the very few people on Drink Champs who you don't see drinking or smoking or anything, period. So Lamar Odom he was on Drink Champs with NORE, everybody's drinking, and Lamar, he's going in. Odom's going in. He's drinking heavy. He's taking shot after shot after shot. He's smoking, going in. Him and NORE both from Queens. So he, going in says, listen, I fuck with you. NORE, you fuck with me. Ask me whatever you want. It's fair game because we just hanging out, we talking, and we having fun. And this is where I say, keep that same energy. Don't just say things for the camera. Don't just be friendly and don't just be, oh yeah, you can ask me anything. We here, we rocking, we here. That's what we doing. And then as soon as the camera goes on, it's a whole different thing. So NORE said, okay, that's what it is. We like family. You here. My son's here. It's his birthday. We got the whole crew here, the whole Drink Champs, family. I'm gonna ask you whatever, just like you said. So he goes in, start asking them questions, and then pretty much the entire podcast goes off pretty much without a hitch. And then I apologize. I'm trying to find this do not disturb setting because this beeping keeps going off. But you know what? I can't even find it right now. So the podcast, it's hour and a half, almost 2 hours in. But I'm noticing, before we even get to the real noticeable, uncomfortable part, I'm already noticing like the drunker Lamar Odom gets and NORE's asking him certain questions and just trying to keep the conversation flowing, it's taking a long time for Lamar Odom to answer these questions. He's like putting his head down. He's staring at NORE. He looks real like blank-minded at some points. He's rubbing his head. It's taking him a long time to answer questions. And then when he starts talking and starts answering these questions, his speech is slurred, obviously, because he's getting drunk. I don't know if he's on anything else, but I know he's drinking and smoking. So he, slurring his words. He'll say a couple words, and then there'll be a long pause, like an uncomfortable pause, like 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes 10 seconds. And then when he is talking, the words that are audible and clear that you hear, it don't make much sense. He's like gesturing, no response. And then NORE, to his credit, he's trying to keep the conversation flowing, trying to keep the podcast on track and not ruin all the footage. He'll be like, I really don't know what you mean. What's that look mean? What, trying to help him fill in the blanks. And it seems like Lamar Odom just can't figure out what he wants to say. He can't get it together. So then the questions about Khloe and the Kardashian questions really start flowing. And then at some point, NORE asks a question. This is after other questions have been asked, answered somewhat, not really too fluently, but, they're being answered. And then Lamar just gets quiet. And NORE's just looking at him like, what's going on? Like, you okay? Like, what's up? And then NORE, again, he's being very cryptic. He's not clearly saying what he wants to say. He's having a hard time articulating what it is he's trying to say. And then he finally blurts out, I just feel disrespected. And then Lamar goes, oh, what? By the situation I'm asking you about, you feel disrespected? What do you mean? And he's like, nah. But he's not saying anything. He's just got this blank stare on his face. So then NORE goes, what you mean you feel disrespected? Here? By me? Something I'm saying? And then Lamar Odom takes him a while, more silence and staring and facial expressions and gestures. And then he finally goes, yeah, this whole situation, I kind of feel disrespected, whatever. Basically, he starts to insinuate, I feel like y'all got me here. It's the setup. You got me here to ask me these uncomfortable questions. I was just coming here thinking just on the strength we was going to talk. And NORE said pretty much, yeah, you're right. We was going to talk. You said the fair game asked you what I want. If you Google yourself, this information comes up. We have to ask you. If I don't ask you, these other media platforms that you interview with or speak to, they would ask you the same thing. So for me to come on here and not ask you this information, people are going to be looking at me crazy, my platform crazy. Like, this is supposed to be Drink Champs. You get the information, you get the interviews. That's what we come to Drink Champs for, because NORE is able to get interviews with people, celebrities, hip hop artists from, present and past, legends that otherwise you wouldn't see because other platforms aren't covering them. Nobody's really asking these people to come out, especially if they're not in the public light at that moment or doing something big, in celebrity news. But NORE gets these people who are staples, who are, big figures, and he gets them on this platform, and we get to hear stories, and we get to, hear about how things came to be or came to fall apart or what have you, that we wouldn't get anywhere else. That's what NORE provides. That's why his platform, Drink Champs, is so big, is a hip hop staple now in the culture. And he's basically like, listen, if you felt like I offended you or I disrespected you, I apologize on the strength of that and the fact that I rock with you, but this is what you signed up for. Like, you came here, we spoke, you knew what it was going to be when you came here and basically signed up for this. So for all the people who are giving backlash, calling up different platforms and radio stations and saying, listen, NORE went too far, he was wrong, he shouldn't have asked this question, that question. Look, I'm going to put it here and I'm going to end it because I don't want it to be too long. But when you're a public figure and that you have been in the news or what you do creates news, and you're somebody who people follows, who people rocks with, you have to understand that at a point, there's going to be times and there's going to be situations where you do something or you're in a certain light. You think about Kevin Hart, you think about, R. Kelly, you think about, Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson when he was alive, God bless today. You think about all these people doing certain points in time in their lives, Tupac, as a celebrity in the public light, Kanye West, even Jay when he was going through his thing, Hov. People are going to ask you these questions. People are going to ask you about these things. And you might not want to answer. You might not want to deal with the situation. But then if that's the case, stay out of the public light. Don't do certain interviews. Don't say on a platform in front of a camera. Oh, ask me anything. I'm here. We here. We good. And then when I ask you a question, now you feel away. Now you feel disrespected. Now you feel like on a strength, I just should have known not to ask you. Because NORE even made mention to the fact that, listen, I've had opportunities to have certain celebrities up here like Drake or Will Smith or whoever. And when their people contact me and say, listen, you can't ask this question, you can't ask that question. Matter of fact, send us a summary or a breakdown or a synopsis of what it is that you're going to be planning on asking so we can let you know if that's okay or if this is okay. And NORE said, listen, I'm not going to run my platform like that. If I have to run my platform like that, and if I have to treat artists or celebrities, entertainers, whoever like that, just to get them on this platform, I don't want them here. Because we want to be real, we want to be organic, we want the conversation, the information to flow. I want to feel like I can ask anything and have that situation just go off on the strength of the culture for the love of the culture. And if it can't be like that, as big as these people are, and as much as it would behoove me from my position on my platform to have these people on, I can't do it. I refuse to do it. And you know what? I respect that. And he shouldn't have to, especially when there's so many other platforms, and not just, the white platforms, but there's Oprah. There's so many big platforms where these celebrities probably wouldn't try that because they benefit as much from being on these platforms as these platforms would benefit from them being on once you get to an Oprah status or an Ellen status. So why should NORE have to approach it any different? And I respect that, and I agree with that. I think Lamar Odom needs some more therapy. I think, whatever he's been doing to get healthy after the whole thing with Chloe and the whole thing with the brothel and all that whole situation, whatever he's done to get to the point where he is, because in the beginning of the interview, I'm like, oh, this is my dog. I was a big Laker fan. I rock with Lamar. He's out now. He's outside. He's looking healthy. I was like, okay. Midway through the interview, like, damn, bro, he's not right. So he really needs to, I think, talk to somebody, get some therapy, get some insight, really find out and figure out what's going on, because he's still not quite there. And I don't think NORE did anything wrong. And I don't think it's fair or right for people to be on NORE, basically like, yo, I think more people are on Lamar, like, yo, he's not right. Something's wrong there. But I just hope he realizes that. I hope his people realizes that, whatever publicist or whoever he has in his corner. Because honestly, and I know you got to do it. I'm sure NORE even considered not even wanting to put that episode out because it looked bad. Like, most of it was cool. But toward that, some parts in the middle and toward the end, you just like, yo, this guy's tweaking. Like 30 minutes could have been shaved off of that Drink Champs episode. 30 minutes of dead time where Lamar Odom was just staring, not answering, not responding, just sitting there staring at NORE or rubbing his head like he couldn't figure out what to say or how to say it. It's a shame, man. And sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes these athletes, particularly the athletes, like the boxers, the football players, the basketball players, unfortunately, you see where the stereotype comes from. You see these players play and you follow them and you follow their whole career and your fans, but then you hear them in an interview and how they are not articulate and can't really put sentences together that make sense. There's more than a few of them who can, thankfully, but it's too many of those ones where you be like, damn, you cringe. It's cringeworthy. You feel embarrassing because you know how they look at us already. We know how they look at us, and it's like, when they say shut up and dribble and just do sports, that's what you do. Don't try to get involved in nothing else. And then you see something like that, and it's like, damn, man, like. So I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think about the whole situation. Do y'all feel like NORE was wrong for asking the questions? I don't, especially since, one, he's in media, right? So you have to look at him as a journalist, even if only as a hip hop or entertainment journalist. He is that. And then one of the first things Lamar said on camera is, ask me anything. We lit. I'm here. Okay, so you got to keep that same energy. But let me know what y'all think about Lamar Odom. What y'all think about his health. He knocking down shots. Clearly, I think he might, still be dealing with the alcoholism. He openly admitted he's an addict, and you can clearly see the way he was knocking back shots. And I don't know, man. I don't know. But I don't think NORE was wrong. I think he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Unfortunately, I think the Drink Champs the show itself may take a little bit of a hit for a second, as far as it might make other people who are already apprehensive or hesitant about coming out after 5, 10, 20 years. Because again, remember, NORE's content, he focuses on legends, people who haven't been around in recent years. And he does have some, current people on, but he focuses most on people who haven't been around for a while. And I think this is going to, unfortunately, go a long way in making some people a little apprehensive, about going on the platform and opening up. I hope it doesn't. It shouldn't. I think he'll bounce back after a few episodes, and after he speaks on exactly what happened and how the situation unfolded. But my take, I think, Lamar Odom needs some help, and I hope he gets it, because I rock with him. He was one of my favorite players on one of my favorite teams during that whole, pretty much from 2000 to 2016, 17, that whole Laker Kobe run, Shaq, Odom, Derek Fisher, Rodman, Fox, the whole cast. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, look out for Midday Juice. Like I said, 2 or 3 times a week, somewhere between 3 and 4:30, for about an hour or so. I'm gonna find a couple different topics and things I could touch on, so that we can keep it fresh and keep it updated. But other than that, let me know what y'all think about this one. It's a social forecast. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. Let me know what y'all think about this one. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.